Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is another fine episode of Inside Veterans Affairs. Welcome to Vince and Margot. You guys are the first comers. Hopefully, others will see that I'm live here in a minute, and we'll get a few more into his house. Um, Episode 28. It's hard to believe. Um, that's 20 or 30 weeks, I guess, because there's been a couple of them where the weather basically got in the way of my opportunity to go live. Kentucky Patriot, welcome. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Yeah, this will be the last Inside Veterans Affairs until I see you all again next year, um, at least for that part. Propus, welcome. Good to see you. Um, Belinda will not be joining me tonight. She is on a road trip, and they are running around for their New Year family vacation. So it will be just a little old me. Um, I hope that doesn't offend too many people. Well, actually, I don't care. I like to offend. That's what's fun. Purnell, Miles, welcome. Kelly, good to see you. Yep, we're getting some in here. Hi, Bleed American. Wilman, 757. Good to see you both. Just to start this thing out, as always, this is not a show intended for children. If you're under the age of 18, I would ask that you leave this show now, and it is specifically for the intention of educating adults and for entertainment, not a show for children. All right, get that out of the way. Uh, Conservative Patriot, good to see you. A few things have been going on with the VA. I wanted to start out by basically talking about my recent experiment. Yeah, that is always what it is. It's an experiment when you go to the VA. Black Spring with Autumn. Hey, how you doing? Um, I just had an appointment with the VA, and I was a little bit mind blown. My VA center here in Pensacola, down here in Florida, has never been by any means the worst, but it has definitely had its frustrating moments. And in touch with other patriots, 30 drone spotted in northern Colorado. Yeah, I heard about that. It's AI technology being tested, but yeah, it's not good news. Anyway, went to the VA, and you don't really associate with people anymore, which at first I thought was a little frustrating. Hey, Lisa's here. Good to see you. I can see you from here. I can see. Hi, how are you? Um. Anyway, you don't associate with people. When I first had that, it kind of felt, you know, a little weird. But as I've gotten used to it, it's actually not so bad because a lot of times you were dealing with people that would rather be doing something else. They were not in a great mood. So it could kind of set you off a little bit right at the beginning of your appointment. So that we're now using a kiosk. We type in our information, we scan our little veterans card, and it logs us in ready for our appointment. Well, my recent appointment, I had to go get my guts checked out because of the Gulf War syndrome that doesn't exist has been catching up with me over the years, and it's gotten to the point where it has maximized my frustration. So I went in with a absolute demand that it's time to get something done about it. But anyway, so as soon as I hit the kiosk, as soon as I hit enter, all of a sudden my name gets called by the tech. So that blew my mind. Well, I went in there, found out I lost even more weight, but that's another entirely different subject. But he sat down, he checked, he logged me in, did all my pre what they call patient history. He did all of that stuff. What's the problem? Why are you here? That kind of thing. And then walked over to the doctor's room. And usually, when you go in there, it's a it's pretty cursory. 12B Georgia, good to see you, bud. Um, they usually tend and turn to you and say, "Hey, how are you?" And then they turn away, and that's usually the last eye contact you get with your physician. The rest of the time, they're sitting on their computer doing this, and you're sitting over here to to the left or the right of them, depending on which direction they're facing. But anyway, they don't talk to you. They fill out their forms on the computer because they have to. Everything is procedure. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Everything with the VA is based on procedure. It's more important to get the paperwork than it is to get the patient cared for. Because even any government entity, the paperwork is always more important than the subject, and we as the people are the subject. So, first thing obviously was getting called back as soon as I logged in. 20 minutes early, too, I might add. So, I got to tell it like it is because when things improve, I got to mention that on here too, and that's an improvement. So 20 minutes early, I'm in here, got dropped off with the doctor's office, and first thing he does is pushes his keyboard under the desk, and he turns and faces me while I'm sitting on the exam table, and says, "What is it that you have going on?" Well, I commenced with what I had going on, and hurry up and wait. Exactly. I did that twice. Are you talking about the doctor's office or the DMV? Close. It's a very very close comparison. Anyway, so he's sitting here talking to me, and we are eye to eye. Because when I talk to people, I don't really talk like this while they're trying to look. I'm looking you in the eyes, and I'm going to tell you how it is. So he listened to me the whole time, got me set up on some basic meds, did a whole slew of blood work, urine, the whole gamut, looking for bacterial infections or whatever. And both, yes, Kentucky Patriot, you were right, both. So anyway, he's got me scheduled for a CT scan of my entire abdomen, and going to be setting me up with gastroenterology. All these are fine and good. The thing I'm still curious about is my time frame from the referral to my CT and to gastroenterology, and that we wait. This is the end of the year, and I have an allowance in there in my patients because of that. I know there's holidays and stuff like that, but normally, I mean, here's an example. Going to my VA several years ago when I was having a lot of issues with my heart and stuff. I mean, even more recently, let's say a year ago, uh, I had a reaction. My throat was closing up, and I called my VA and I said I have an emergency. I need to get seen like real soon. And the receptionist says, "Okay, well, we have an opening in 2 months." So I said, this is ridiculous. But anyway, so I ended up going to the ER and got taken care of, and fortunately, the VA system paid for it. But that's how things were. Emergency appointments were 2 months. I mean, that's if you're dying today, we can squeeze you in 2 months. And non emergency appointments, you'd be looking at 6 to 9 months. So, Miss Mary, good to see you. Squashes Mod Squad, you too. Welcome, welcome. Um, anyway, so waiting is I guess their favorite hobby is make sure you wait. So we will see acid reflux. Well, that's a bitch. Uh, we'll see how long this takes. Um, anyway, the whole point of what I'm getting at is that things are visibly getting better. The Normally going to the VA is a little bit like practicing bleeding. Uh, I usually get pretty worked up even 2 or 3 days before my appointment because I know that when I get there, it's just going to stress me the hell out, and that I can't stand dealing with it. I'd rather die. Piss on it. I don't need the doctors. That's the kind of stress that I would go through when I was getting ready to go to the VA. Earth Gal, welcome. That looks new. To all who serve and have served, thank you very much. Respect. Happy New Year. Well, thank you. Appreciate you. Welcome to the show. Um, Anyway, now I kind of went in to this appointment with a little bit of anxiety, and if by the time I got done with the appointment, it was more like a little bit of shock. I was truly impressed. So everything is in the right direction. Yeah, damn. That's what I say, Michael. Because it was wow. Luciano, welcome. Good to see you. So that was my recent experience with the VA, and when things are good, you're going to hear that here too. When things are not good, you're going to hear that here too. Because my goal, like I've said from the very beginning, I do not intend on destroying a system or, you know, talking badly about it just because if there's really something that is going wrong, the only way to ever get things fixed is to bring it to the surface. Exposure is the best medicine. So if they're doing something wrong, I'm going to tell you about it. But damn it, man, when they do something right, you're going to hear about that too. And this was definitely right. Uh, Thank you, Wilman. Appreciate that. I got a few of my Patriot shirts. I like them a lot. Fred, good to see you. Start over. Okay, well, there was this appointment that I went to. You know what? Why don't you rewind it? That way, it'll it'll work a little bit better because that would really take me a minute. I can't even. I didn't write a script, so I may not even get all the words correct. Now I got to make sure my cat didn't just change any settings because he's constantly stepping on my mouse. Cat and mouse. Who'd have thunk? Anyway, so with that being said, I want to go ahead and get into some of what's going on in the world of the Veterans Administration. And we'll start it off by stepping over here to Intergovernmental Affairs. Three new headlines, subjects have come up over this holiday period, which is unusual. And by the way, I hope everybody had an outstanding Christmas. VA still won't fix my bad knees. They have me listed. That just ran off my screen. Just a second. They have me listed as disabled due to having bad knees, arthritis, according to them. Um, yeah, and go see a patient rep, or that's first. Go see the patient representative at the VA. Ask them how you go forward with it, and second would be if you don't get satisfaction there, and you have a representative in your district that gives a damn, then that's number two. Um, Start with the VA patient representative. If you don't get satisfaction there, go to your state representative, your district area. So two ways to get things moving. VA receives high marks for me communicating with the public. And that falls under this change with actually sitting and listening to me with my doctor. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs received an A grade in November from a nonpartisan organization that evaluates the ability of federal agencies and businesses to communicate clearly with the public. Um, I'm a little early to give a solid A myself, but uh, if the if my last exam was based on a final exam, I would definitely give them a solid B. With only my only hesitation to give them an A would be let's see how it goes because I've only gotten half of my process done. I still need to get a CT scan. I still need to see gastroenterology. So, based on what was happening now, is I'd give them a solid B, and we'll call this a midterm, and the final exam will be based on the how quickly I can get these other two. The person I see is actually above my local DAV office. Okay, um, DAV is a good organization. American Legion is another good organization. Um, you might get an advocate there. But the bottom line is, if you're not getting any satisfaction at your VA medical center, you really need to start. heading to your representative, because you may be talking to a guy that's above the VA hospital, which is great. If things aren't moving, then he has hit a proverbial brick wall, and your state representative can kick that wall down. It depends on how much they are in favor of taking care of the veterans, because ours, Matt Gates and Cap Nielsen are the two that deal with our VA here, and they are like rabid pit bulls. Our VA will jump and yell how high after they get off the ground when our rep makes a call to them. So after over 5 years of fighting, I finally got them to add my real bad left knee, the one really giving me problems. Their drugs don't work for me, anti-inflammatories. Oh yeah, here's your 800 milligram Motrin. Now shut up and go away. That's normal. If you need to be scanned quickly, go to the airport. That's a good idea. Creative. And you can also get a testicular exam. So you can knock out two stones with one bird. All right, number two here. VA's patient statement portal now available online. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs announced December 18th that veterans now have digital access to patient statements through Access VA using their secure information for DS log on ID me ID.me or My Health Vet Premium. So if you haven't signed up for My Healthy Vet yet, that's something that you should do, because you can track your medications, you can track your appointments, you can access your nurses in your zone at the VA. Exactly. Went through all of them. Now have rub on cream for it. Only works some of the time. Go figure. Yeah. Well, what you're doing is you're talking a lot about bone pain, and believe me, brother, bone pain is a little bit like tooth pain. You can wash your mouth out with lidocaine, but real tooth pain, if you have that, is never going to go away. Same thing with bone pain. You just can't escape it. If you have bone to bone, you know, friction going on, it's a pain that you just can't get away from. So I totally understand that. It'd be different if it was muscular or vascular, or nerve pain, but neurologic pain, but um, bone pain just sucks. All right, next one here. VA introduces new direct deposit options for veterans beneficiaries. This one I read earlier and it kind of got my interest. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, in partnership with the Association of Military Banks of America, AMBA, launched the Veterans Benefits Banking Program, VBBP, available starting December 20th. So I'm going to open this one because I was curious and I think we should all be looking into that. Diphenolic sodium topical gel, 1% is what they gave me. Yeah, that has that has lidocaine in it. Turkey leg, how you doing? Um, 1% is actually a pretty high dose for lidocaine, but you know what? You might try putting it on there, goobiting on your knee, and then throw your knee under a heat pad because that may activate it more. That's a guess, but it'd be worth a shot, because the key to it is penetration. You want that getting into your skin, and if you get that skin good and hot and moist, those pores will open up and crank that stuff in there. All right, let's see. Washington, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, in partnership with this. Okay, read that part. The program will provide veterans and their beneficiaries the chance to safely, reliably, and inexpensively receive and manage their VA monetary benefits through financial services at participating banks. The VBBP offers another way to simplify banking choosing choices to help eligible veterans select the right bank for themselves and their families, said VA Secretary Robert Wilkie. The VA and the AMBA are proud to provide this opportunity to connect veterans with banks that understand their needs. VA collaboration with the AMBA will leverage its consortium of military friendly financial institutions that cater to service members. AMBA is the only trade association representing banking institutions specializing in providing services for military personnel, veterans, and their families around the world. Okay, that was what I was wondering. World access is that can be handy. VBBP leverages participating AMBA institutions and banks operating within the gates of installations of all branches of service and National Guard and Reserve components. Interesting. Um, did Jeff do it? You're not crazy? Oh, somebody did it. How dare you? Well, how dare you? Anyway, so AMBA and its members banks welcome the opportunity to provide our nation's veterans additional financial services options to help them achieve greater financial independence, resiliency, and literacy. What the hell does that mean? Said AMBA President and Air Force veteran Steve Lepper. He's a leper, be careful. We hope that as veterans recognize the benefits of working with the banks to achieve financial stability, more veterans, banks, and credit unions will join this effort. I'm not sure what he means by literacy because, as far as I know, if you can't pass the ASVAB, you can't join the military, and if you can't read the test, you can't take the ASVAB, therefore, you can't join the military. So I'm wondering if he means like financial, excuse me, air in my chest, financial literacy, because a lot of people don't understand finances, but that's just something different. We don't get taught anything in schools anymore. Oh, Donnie Newman, good to see you. Uh, let's see, not crazy according to the shrink at VA. Yep, yeah, they just said that so that you wouldn't attack them as they were backing out the door, right? Just kidding. Already conservative. Good to see you, brother. Welcome, welcome. Um, let's see. The current available banking options include direct deposit into existing bank accounts, electronic funds transfer into a direct express prepaid debit card, and mailing of a paper check for pre-approved beneficiaries. BBP introduced a new financial resources to veterans and their beneficiaries. So this is interesting, but a little confusing. Three more paragraphs here. The program is an effort to address the problem some veterans experience using these payment methods. VBBP offers these VA beneficiaries, including many who have been unable to open bank accounts in the past, homeless, that will help them, the opportunity to deposit their beneficiary funds directly into existing or new bank account offering participating AMBA member banks. So, if you have a if you have a bank account already, see if your bank is AMBA registered for veterans. Neither the VA nor the AMBA is endorsing any particular bank or requiring veterans and other beneficiaries to use them. It does not require veterans who are satisfied with their current financial situation to change how they receive their VA monetary benefits. That sounded like a disclosure or a disclaimer. All veterans and other beneficiaries who currently receive more than 118 billion in financial benefits through the VA are eligible to access this program. There are approximately 250,000 veterans and beneficiaries who receive their VA benefits through a prepaid debit card or paper check who may not have a bank account. So what I see what they're doing here. This is I can see this being a benefit to homeless people because when you open a bank account, they want addresses and stuff like that. So this may be something that will work for the homeless, possibly. I mean, that's my opinion, but it looks like that's a program that could really benefit them. VA's Veterans Banking Benefits and AMDA's Veterans Benefits Banking Program website have details for identifying particular participating banks. To have your federal benefits electronically transferred to a veteran's designated financial institution, VA beneficiaries interested in changing direct deposit options can also call 800 827 1000. That's basically a general information number with the VA with their relevant banking information. VA financial literacy. There's the answer. He was referring to financial literacy, not the ability to write or read, rather. VA financial literacy information is an additional resource available to veterans and VA beneficiaries. Okay, so this program is it. What I'm getting from it is it looks like it's designed to um, help veterans get their financial ends together to stay keep their expenditures within their means, which is very difficult in some cases because if you're not aware of it, you don't make much money in the military. You don't join the military to become a wealthy, independent person. So when they say live within your means, and your means are meager at best, then sometimes it can get away from you a little bit, especially if you have a small family or a big family. So I could see this being a benefit. So look into that if you're interested. And that's the new banking program. It's the check with your bank and see if it is a AMBA or Association of Military Banks of America affiliate, and then ask some questions. See what they got going out. All right, got to get on that. Go get them 20-inch rims on our SUVs. Yes, sir. Get that government money. Uh, just remember, it's the lowest bidders that get the best jobs in the government. So, the, even though they always hire the lowest bidder, they always overspend. So it makes no sense. That's government management. Um, all right, going over here to the military.com. There's a couple of interesting articles that I found. Um, the Air Force's life saving U 2 spacesuit is evolving to meet modern challenges. That's normal. Things are always evolving. Um, let's see. Aging bombers, Benghazi heroism, and brand new bullet. Our best reporting of 2019. Okay, so that's a review. Get up there, Pop. Get up. Uh, well, this is interesting. Navy touts U.S. merchant ships rescue of Iranians after others left them adrift. So, us big bad Americans, get up there. You're gonna bump the table. Us big old bad mean old Americans rescued some Iranians. Maybe someday the people of Iran will realize that the Americans are not hateful. Only the deep state and our government is, and people in general are good. So I hope that they get that into their news over there. Um, let's see. Another one here says, I just had to have another Beowulf. Okay, well, I understand that happens to the best of us. Always locked and loaded. Wow. I hope you guys aren't talking about me. I didn't say anything that offensive, I hope, yet. Um, yeah, okay. You guys are. What? Oh, where is it? Johnny Hoff. Hello, everybody from 7 miles east of ORC. Or ORD. Is that Fort Ord or is that something else? Um, Curious. Anyway, so here it says enlisted Medal of Honor recipients (POWs) and POWs can now have full honor burials at Arlington. That's kind of nice. I thought that that was already available, but I heard I actually did the story about it, and I heard that they were kind of running out of room at Arlington, and they were trimming up some of the criteria that would allow you to be there. Angela, good to see you. If you're not locked and loaded and ready to fire, then you might as well not carry. That's a fact. Never be somebody's victim. Um, 150 around. Oh my god. Um, let's see. Congress pumps the brakes on any plans to pull U.S. troops out of South Korea. Yeah, because as soon as we take our eyes off of South Korea, the deep state's going to try to get them to react. Um, Here's something here. It says Taliban Council agrees to ceasefire in Afghanistan, but we just had a attack. Taliban attacks and kills 17 militia in northern Afghanistan. So, what the hell? What does their version of a ceasefire mean? It kind of confuses me. Um, anyway, so that one's kind of got me going. What? Uh, let's see. Greece has just locked a deal with Lockheed Martin, or Lockheed if they're still Martin, I don't know. Seals major Air Force upgrade. So we're upgrading more military equipment for countries that will soon someday be fighting against us. And you can look at our history and see that every country we've ever trained and supplied with weapons, we get to go back and fight that shit again. The only difference is we get to take on our own military equipment. Um, Obviously, they make changes to our equipment before we sell it to other countries, which keeps our superior. But that's really not the point. It's the fact that every time we train a company, a country, we train their soldiers, we equip them, we send them all our finest military equipment, and then they find a reason to hate us, and we go to war with them, and we get to fight our own equipment. So I just think countries need to be making their own military stuff. That's always been the way I felt about it. Uh, why my comment get yanked? YouTube. Um, they do that. Keywords. That's why we always try to tell you don't use cuss words in the chat, even though I say shit and damn and hell and all that on here. It's different in the audio. It's easier for them to pick it up with the algorithms in text. So as soon as you hit cuss words in the chat, then they can freeze up the live stream. But also there are little things about their stupid emojis and whatever you know you just got to play their stupid rules. And if you make a word that they find inappropriate in any way whatsoever, then they just jank it. Uh, uh, let's see, Angela, you're talking about. I didn't see what you started with, but somebody's got pneumonia. We'll get some prayers up for them. Make sure they get fast recovery. No cuss words. I know, really weird, right? A veteran site, veterans and military, and we can't cuss. We can be shot at, but damn it, you can't cuss on YouTube. So totally different. Uh, let's see. I am now in Veterans Today news, looking to see if there's anything worthy of our attention. Iran, any U.S. craft, manned or unmanned, spying on Russia and China. I wanted to open that one because I got a double fisted middle finger salute to all of them because they want to buzz our shores and eavesdrop on our equipment, and this looks like it's going to be a video. Okay. Iran, any U.S. craft manned or unmanned spying on Russia, China, Iran naval drills to be attacked. Well, I got really bad news for him. That would be a stupid idea. Tehran, whatever the hell they want to say, any spying aircraft spotted in the area of joint drills of Iran, Russia, China will be destroyed. This sounds like it's a training mission that is slated to go hot. And if you're military familiar, you know exactly what that means. It means you set up a drill, you create the twin foxtrots, and then that drill goes hot. This is what this sounds like. The deep state has got to have their event. It's got to happen because they are in a corner now and they know that it's just a minute before they're done. So they've got to have this event. And could this be it? You know, twin foxtrots. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, it says China will be destroyed. Coordinating deputy of Islamic Republic of Iran Army Habibullah Syriari told Tasnim News Agency on Saturday. Many countries are definitely seeking to know what the matter is. Spies have also taken action. A joint war game is no joke, and this is no joking matter for the U.S. either. We will hit whatever spying craft in the war game zone, we be it watercraft or aircraft, as we have proved having such a capability in the past, he said. No, the Obama administration landed that drone on their runway, so I don't want to hear crap about their technology. Meanwhile, Deputy Chief of Iran's Armed Forces for Coordination, Rear Admiral Habibullah, whatever the hell you say his name, Sayeri, said that Iran, Russia, and China intend to continue to conduct joint military drills in the future. Well, Lottie frickin' da. The naval drills of Iran, Russia, and China in the northern Indian Ocean are definitely not the last, he says. Well, goody goody. Russia, Iran, and China launched a joint naval exercise dubbed Naval Security Belt in the northern Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Oman earlier in the day. During the exercise, participants are set to engage in drills fighting terrorism and piracy as well as providing regional security. Good. You supply the security. We'll come on back to the house. The drill will last 4 days and will include the three states sharing the experience of naval rescue operations. Right. Cover story. Earlier, the Pentagon, which has announced its own maritime security operation in the region, confirmed that it was aware of the drills and would be closely monitoring the situation. Who is going to be their bait? They got to send somebody in to buzz the Iranians, and then the Iranians, hand over the shot and cause the damage, and then poof, we're at war. This is so predictable. I hope everybody understands how their twin foxtrots work because this one's playing out like a well rehearsed script. Uh, let's see. Down here about Earth Defense Force. See what President Dwight D. Eisenhower did and created. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Know about it. Uh, Thanks to President Trump, our Army has the tools it needs again. Finish the wall and feel safer already. That's that's a good idea. They're working on it. Uh, Wolf Stonehenge, welcome. United American Patriots. That's what we have to do. No infighting. So anyway, what this story bottom lines is, Iran can take a flying leap naked onto a very sharp stick, and They can give themselves a rectal exam for all am concerned. I'm frankly getting tired of being threatened, and I realize that it's all choreographed by the deep state, by the CIA. I mean, the CIA is the deep state. If you guys haven't figured that out already, look up the every criminal act that's ever happened to this country and see who's behind it, and then you'll know. Um, let's see. I saw something earlier that I wanted to bring up. Uh, something about attention, health misinformation in 2019. Um, Not exactly a veterans issue, but it's under the Veterans Today, so I figured I'd pull it up. Um, Health editors know we have been hit hard with health and medical disinformation during 2019. Of course, they have. Now, see, I'm going to tell you that this is very likely written by a left leaning organization for the anti vaxxers. So we'll see. But social media has played a very large part in this uh, craziness, singing the praises of cures that do not exist is an extreme disservice to mankind. Okay, maybe it was written by big pharmaceutical. So be careful what you listen to. They're going to play their games. Um, we've had holistic medicine way longer than we've had the big pharmaceutical companies. So I don't even know if I want to give this too much. Okay, a cabal of doctors are hiding the cure for cancer. Berries are more effective than vaccines. Actually, my father was a physician. I think I've told you guys that before. His last 15 years or so, or at least last 10 years in his while he was practicing, he was studying exotic diseases, doing medical research, and you know, before he died, he and I talked a lot about it. He actually died of cancer, but the only reason is because he wasn't one of the chosen ones that could access the medication like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and others get their hands on because they are the elite. But my dad said there are, in fact, cures for cancer. And right now, there's a doctor. He's actually a veterinarian that was a farmyard vet treating livestock and found that a goat wormer was preventing cancer. And he decided he got diagnosed with melanoma or lymphoma. So he started giving himself that goat wormer, and in 3 months he didn't have any cancer. So don't tell me there's no cure for cancer because I know differently. What? Say it. Oh yeah, the video for that guy. I'd have to look that up, but interesting video about a man that actually cured himself with the same goat warmer. Um, I'll see if I can find it. But anyway, now back to where are we at on time? Wow, I have been babbling. Good lord. Good thing you guys can keep up. Ashley, hey there. Disabled Vets Perspective. Did you see the shooting in Texas church? Yes, I did. Uh, that usher saved the church members by stopping the gunman. It's on Facebook for now, but I don't think MSM will report it. I don't think so either. It doesn't fit narratives. Um, I still believe that there's probably an element of not Joe's live stream. Good to see you. An element of twin foxtrot in there somewhere because with this Virginia thing coming up, it's already been projected that there was going to be several shootings. So this will not be the last, and it's part of the program to push the narrative. But the media may be looking for a little more subject matter to fit their criteria for their narrative. Um, anyway, so homeless veterans program. You guys know I'm passionate about that. because we've been close. It's real close. U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is committed to eliminating homelessness among veterans. This challenge is being addressed through a range of services and benefits, housing and supportive services, partnering with the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Dr. Carson, VA helps veterans find safe and affordable housing to foster lasting success in transitioning homeless veterans into homes. Now, they have a lot of programs throughout the country right now with many or tiny home developments. They're like little neighborhoods with tiny homes, and they're having a lot of success with it. Some states are resisting the tiny home movement, but others are embracing it. And you know, it's ridiculous to think that I live in 340 square feet, but in some states, I would be ejected from this home because it's not big enough to be a dwelling. But anyway, so where I live, they leave me alone. The foster lasting success of transitioning homeless veterans. Okay, read that part. Agencies to provide. VA also works with community based agencies to provide case management and supportive services. Other VA supported efforts tackle the challenge in innovative ways, such as turning unused buildings into new housing for veterans and helping low income veterans and their families with minor expenses and grants. Low income, yes. Everything's. I see people talking about, all this money. I mean, we're supposed to have a good economy, but where the hell does all the money come from? Anyway, just that's my gripe. But anyway, so home loan guarantee services. VA urges all veterans encountering problems making their mortgage payments to speak with their servicers to explore options to avoid foreclosure. Yeah, because the VA guaranteed home loan, they don't want your house. They want you to have your house. There's nothing they can't do anything with it. So it's beneficial for them to make sure you stay in it. So they will work. They'll bend over backwards to make sure you can stay in that house. Uh, you wouldn't trust Uncle Ben Carson to find me a cardboard box. That's interesting. Seems like he's been doing okay. So moving a lot of money into urban developments. So I don't know. I'll look into it more. If you'd like to donate to Disabled Vets Perspective PayPal, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, if you would like to donate, I'm working on collecting up the money for my trip to Virginia for the 20th of January. I've had some incredible patriots already donate to that cause, and I love you guys for that. Um, it's going to be an interesting trip. So please, if you want to help with that trip, uh, I'm still very happy to accept more donations. Let's see if that um, there. All right. So, getting back to the homeless prevention or homeless alternatives, prevention services. VA helps veterans and their families who are at risk of homelessness stay in their homes or find permanent housing. VA continues its support by providing funding and community based nonprofit groups that offer services such as limited rental assistance, child care, employment, training, and referrals. VA also reaches out to veterans in the justice system to link them with needed health care and other services. What they need is a justice system that's not so hostile to veterans. That would help. I don't trust a doctor to be involved in housing issues. Mm, okay, I can understand that, but you also have to consider the fact that you don't become a doctor without an extremely high level of intellect, and the fact that he came up in an urban dwelling with a single family household and overcame everything to get where he is. their, you know, firsthand knowledge is sometimes one of the most powerful tools in correcting a problem. Um, Thank you, Wolf Stonehenge. Appreciate it. Welcome too. I do like my Patriot shirts. I'd love to have more of them, but they're kind of expensive. Job training and employment and income benefits. VA offers a variety of job training programs to help homeless veterans and veterans at risk of homelessness gain skills that are valued in today's job market. Though VA's compensation work therapy program, homeless veterans can receive temporary residence in community-based supervised group homes. Screw that, said Pooh. I don't need to be supervised, and they're going to have to do something better than that. Anyway, supervised group homes with paying jobs. Additional benefits that may be available through the VA include compensation and pension, vocational rehabilitation, and employment services for veterans who have injuries, illnesses, or disease related to their active military service. So, anyway, this is interesting stuff. So, it's in the Veterans Times. So, if you want to look into more of veterans' homelessness correction issues, then Veterans Times is what you need to be looking at. And is it going to let me move this? Uh, all right, let me get to this next one. I'm trying not to turn off my camera. All right. Now, this one is some interesting and some good news for folks that are in the what they're affectionately calling legacy appeals. Um, I am a victim of legacy appeals. I had, I fought the VA for 17 and a half years to get my disability rating, and it was an uphill fight all the time. Um, okay, old reliable. I just would feel better if he was in a medical field. Okay, I can see that. I agree with that. So, yeah, we're good on that. Lions Republic just posted video of UN trucks in Virginia on I-81. Know anything about that? I do not know about that yet, but is as coded as I have to be in my statement due to the fact that Florida is stupid with red flag laws and thinks everybody's crazy that's a veteran. I would say that red doesn't look good on blue helmets. Just that's all I'm saying. So if they want to do something that stupid, which is exactly what it would be, then they've made their choice. VA plans to resolve all legacy appeals by the end of 2022. So if you are in the process, in the legacy appeals process, and what that means is that you've been at it a while. I talked to somebody not too long ago that was in his 21st year of fighting the VA, and that is the epitome of a legacy appeal. It means that your appeals have been, you've turned them over, you send in another appeal, you put in another appeal because they like to say no. And you have to be able to continue the fight. That's why I always say stay in the fight because you have to stay in the fight. They will say no to you, they will say it often, they will say it without a smile on their face. So, I mean, their job is to not have to give away government money. They want to spend it for themselves. Hey, History B, good to see you. God bless you too. um, so you always stay in the fight. But the point is, we're looking at 2022. So if you are in a legacy appeals process and it's been going a long time, you can see that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow now. They're saying they want to get this done by 2022. Can they? We'll see. But the fact that they're trying to put a date on it, um, I guess you could say that's a good thing. Uh, just we'll see. but you got a chance to see the end of it. But it says the Department of Veterans Affairs and its administration intends to resolve all veterans' appeals made before February 2019 in about 3 years. So let's see. The Veterans Benefits Administration, the Veterans Health Administration, and the National Cemetery Administration plan to resolve non remanded appeals by the end of 2020. And the reason they're involved with the Cemetery Administration, I'll tell you about a buddy of mine that I used to see regularly when I'd go over to the VA hospital out, over in Mississippi. This guy had been fighting the VA for about, he was in his 12th or 13th year of fighting the VA. And every time I went to that VA, I'd run into him. He was there because he had to go to the hospital a lot. He had a lot of Agent Orange issues and a lot of really serious medical problems. Well, he had been fighting the VA, and I went for uh, one of my appointments and evaluation that I had to go do. And I got there and I saw another guy that's usually there at the same time as me, and I said, "Where's Mac at? Where's he at? Usually he's here every time I'm here." And he said, uh, "He died last month." And then he said, "But the good news is they finally approved his case. So his wife got back pay, and she'll be taken care of for the rest of her life. But all he got to do while he was alive was experience abject poverty because of the inability to go to work and stuff like that." So that's the downside of these appeals. But the cemetery administration means that they are going to back pay spouses if settlements are reached. So at least the spouses will be taken care of because that's all you really want. If you're single, you kind of just don't give a damn. But if you're married or you got kids or whatever, you don't do any of this stuff because of yourself. You do it because of the taking care of your family when you're gone. Anyway, and the Board of Veterans Appeals (BVA) is aiming for December 2022 completion date by first chipping away at all number of chipping away at the number of hearings requested appeals. Yeah, it takes a while to get a hearing, so they got an end date on this. I'm impressed. A remand appeal is one that has been sent back to the VA regional office that may happen for a variety of reasons, including new evidence, a change in law, or change in the disability status of a veteran, among others. I got to open this up. By reducing the number of legacy hearings, a VA spokesman said in an email, the board will be able to resolve the majority of its legacy appeals. However, always got to throw that in there, VA anticipates that residual remands will continue. Well, shit. Uh, we'll see how long it takes them to get to an appeal to a hearing after a residual remand by the time this program is finished. That's all we can do. The next year, the BVA staff will hold 36,000 legacy appeals hearings, despite expecting to add more appeals to its pending 60,000 plus. Before Congress passed an appeal uh, modernizing Modernization Act (AMA) in 2017, Veterans Appeals, a VA decision, had to wait an average of 3 years before reaching the BVA, where appeals could take another 3 years to reach resolution. Yeah, they like to drag it out. They'd rather you be dead than to have to keep paying you for the rest of your life. Inga Hicks, good to see you. Welcome. The AMA created three tracks of reviewing decisions in two involving the same administration and at a higher level of review or a supplemental claim, and another requesting a decision on hearings with the BVA. Since the act, the board has also improved appeal resolution time and notifications to veterans about outcomes by sending letters that are easier to read. Not that hard to say. At the Veterans Administration, we find at this time that you are not qualifying for the benefit and whatever. It's not that hard to understand. So we'll see how it goes. Um, hello, Kitty. Is it time? It is time. Oh my God, we just blew through that hour. All right. I got to stick to my hour because other people have live shows and uh, my animals get restless. All right. I want to take a minute and thank all of my mods. You guys rock the joint. Appreciate what you do. I appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out with me for an hour of your life at a time. It means a lot to me. I hope all this information was beneficial. Um, um, I try to get what's relevant, what's going on. Um, it'll be next year before I see you folks. So, have a good year, what's left of it. And until next time, Raymond Kushner, Merry Christmas. Yes, and Happy New Year. Welcome. All right, y'all. Stay in the fight. God